In this video, we're going to show you how to do an oil change on a Nissan Altima. You're going to raise the vehicle and then locate the oil pan, and drain plug, and oil filter. I'm going to take a little tool, take that plastic push pin out of the way. And then that one popped out. You'll find them eventually kind of used and worn out from other people's oil changes. You can just set that out of the way. Now the drain plug is a 14 millimeter, so you can use a ratchet or a socket. And I'm going to use a socket, and I'm just going to break this free. Now I can get my catch basin, put it underneath, try to line it up right, and then we'll pull that drain plug right out. So the oil filter is located in the passenger fender well. So you'll see this plastic cover right here. Take your tool and remove that little push pin. And then you're going to get your oil filter wrench. See the filter right there? Put the wrench on it and counter clockwise. Make sure you have a catch basin. You should get some residual oil out of it. So while that's draining, we're going to take our new filter and we're going to do what we call prime it. We're going to take some of the new oil and just fill it right up in the center. Let it come to the top of the threads, and then it's just going to settle itself right back down. It's going to burp, and just keep going until it's full. You're priming this filter so that when you go to crank it over after the oil change, that oil pump won't go for 60 seconds without any real oil pressure behind it. It's still lubricated, yes, from the old oil. It's just a good way to do it in practice when you do oil changes. Take some of that clean oil, put it right on that new seal, and now we're going to take a rag and clean the old surface on the car. So now with a rag, I'm going to clean that oil filter surface, make sure there's no old oil or rust spots, and believe it or not, make sure that old gasket is off. Sometimes they will stick on that housing, and when they do that, that's a mess. Now I'm going to take my new filter, and I'm going to line it up. You will lose a little bit of oil, not much, and then just spin it right till it seats. Once it bottoms out, we're going to use our hand, not a wrench because we don't want to damage it, and turn it a quarter turn. Now I can take some parts cleaner, clean that area, and I'll put that clip back in. So now we're going to take our drain plug. Always examine the drain plug gasket. If it's got any fraying to it, especially if it's copper type or aluminum or plastic, you don't want it cracked, spread out. You want it to have a good surface. We're lucky here, I don't have one to replace it with, but it is still in good shape. So we're just going to snug it right up there. Start it again by hand. Once it bottoms out, this color, by the way, is from the last oil change. Some people like to melt a crayon on there. 14 millimeter socket, and we're going to torque that to the factory spec, which is 25 foot-pounds. Take some cleaner and clean that, and then put our plastic shield back up. Now you can put your clips back. So the oil fill cap is located on the top of the engine underneath this engine cover. You don't need to take the cover off, you just need to take the oil filler cap off. Take a funnel. As you can see, someone was nice enough to write how many quarts and what type of oil. It's 0W20, and it is 4.9 quarts. We're gonna start putting our oil in. Okay, so now that we've got our 4.9 quarts oil in there, we can remove our funnel. Make sure there's no debris. Take our oil filler cap, line it up, snug it down. Now we're going to start the car and run it for about 2 minutes, shut it off, let it sit for 5, and we'll check our oil level. So now the car has been sitting for 5 minutes, all the fresh oil's in the pan. We're going to pull the dipstick and wipe off the old fluid. Make sure it's clean. This is a good time to look at the indicator and see what we're looking for. We have an H for high and an L for low. In these 2 dots, you want the fluid preferably to be closer to the top of the dot, but right in the middle is a safe zone. So now we can reapply the stick and get our reading. Perfect. It's kind of clean, but you can see right where it's wet, and the oil is so clean because it's a new oil change. That is the exact spot you want it at. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.